Hey guys, this is Red and Blue, your channel on YouTube for all things PSG in English. Please subscribe. Today, let's talk about Mercato. We're seeing some rumors come out in the market throughout the day yesterday and today about a renewed interest from Liverpool for one of our players, Bradley Barcola. If you remember, there were conversations earlier during this window about both Liverpool and Bayern Munich being after the player, which didn't really pan out. Now we're hearing today that because the Isaac conversation with Newcastle seems to be difficult, Liverpool is looking at their options, and specifically they're looking at two players, one of which is Bradley Barcola and the other of which is Rodrigo. And in fact, Liverpool could be in the midst of preparing an offer for PSG that would be above 100 million euro. So let's dive in on this rumor and kind of break it apart and see what we think about it. So Barcola first joined PSG 2 years ago from Lyon. He's a French international. He's 23 years old, and he's a very versatile player who typically plays on the left wing for us, but can also play as a false nine, can also play as a right winger. He's right-footed. And yeah, he's one of those players who Luis Enrique is very keen of. At the same time, obviously, he's a player who suffered the most in terms of playing time from us bringing in Kvara at the Christmas Mercato last year. And I think, it's been clear. He still gets a lot of playing time, don't get me wrong. He's actually like every game that we played last season. So he is a big part of the squad and a big part of Luis Enrique's plan. But at the same time, he was a substitute for the Champions League final. He was a substitute for the first leg of the semi-finals in Arsenal. In the return, he was a starter, but that was because Dembele was injured. He was a substitute of the return leg against Aston Villa. And yeah, in the Club World Cup, it was the same thing. I think if Kvara and Dembele and Doué are fit, they seem to have a little bit of a leg up versus him at the moment. So yeah, at the same time, we are playing a lot of games, so he's still getting a lot of playing time. He's still an important player. He's still massively talented and massively impactful when he's on the pitch for us. So it's not like he's in complete failure in PSG. But obviously, like when we're talking about an offer around 100 million plus, that's got to make us stop and think for a little bit. And I think, from a Liverpool perspective as well, for me, like, I actually think it makes all the sense in the world because they recruited Ekitike, who's a number 9, but they sold Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich, who was their left winger. They didn't replace him. Now they're talking about Alexander Isaac, who's also a number 9, can play on the left wing if necessary, but that's not his top position. So I do see a gap in their team at this left wing position, and a player like Barcola would definitely improve their starting 11 in that space. Even if they were to bring in Isaac, put him up front, play Ekitike on the left, yeah, I honestly don't see it for Liverpool. It's kind of a shame to spend like 400 million or something on their Mercato and have like a role left open in their starting 11. It just doesn't make sense. So yeah, from the PSG side, we're hearing a few things. We're not hearing a lot. Obviously, PSG works quietly, but typically what we're hearing is that any move for the player would first have to be over 100 million euro, no way around that, and potentially as high as 120 million. So a big move. And at the same time, and I think what's most important is that the player would need to request for the move. And I think that's very significant because, in the past, we've had our experiences like trying to hold player backs when they wanted to leave. Mbappe, if you're looking at us. And yeah, typically it always ends in disaster for us. And so, I very much hope that a player like Barcola would want to stay in PSG, but at the same time, if he's not happy of the competition with Kvara, if he's not happy with his playing time, if he doesn't feel valued in the team and wants to see something else, or if he just wants to take the move and go to the Premier League, it's perfectly honorable as well. If that's the way he sees his career go. then we should definitely let him go and not force him to stay in PSG as well. So far, we haven't had those rumors from the player at all. I think he's been even more quiet than the team. And like I said, like there were rumors about him being on the shortlist for Bayern Munich and Liverpool earlier in the window, and even then he didn't say anything, which personally would make me believe that he's okay to stay. Probably, see how the season goes. There's been as well a lot of chatter on the PSG side that Barcola is really near the top of the list, if not at the top of the list, in terms of contract extensions that we need to negotiate. He's only been here for 2 years, but obviously he's not the same player that came in from Lyon with basically half a season of professional football behind him. Now he's a superstar and a confirmed player in a Champions League winning team. And so his contract would need to reflect that. We still have 3 years on his current contract, so there's no massive pressure on this. And it's not like, we need to sell him, otherwise he risks leaving on a free. But yeah, it's a conversation. And so I very much picture, Barcola staying in, seeing how the start of the season pans out for him in terms of playing time, how Luis Enrique makes him play. Does he look at different positions for him? I think, like, for me, he's played quite a few games for us last year out of the right wing. And I think typically that's where he used to play for Lyon before moving to PSG. And that's typically a space where he's been interesting. And I think around the player as well, there's always been this recurring chatter that he could evolve into a number nine a la Thierry Henry. So this very pacey, starts from the half space or starts from the wing and cuts back inside, kind of forward, which could be interesting. I think he was very clinical in terms of goal scoring in the first half of last season, but kind of dropped off in the second half. And so in the end, I think he finishes as one of our top 3 strikers for the year. In fact, I think he's number 2 for the year. But that's really out of the left wing and not so much out of number 9. And I think he does have a lot of refinement he needs to bring to his game, a lot of different skill sets he needs to improve in terms of his technicals when it comes to striking, to finishing, his decision making, and so on and so forth. But yeah, like Luis Enrique is definitely not the kind of coach who's afraid of pushing players into different roles and different positions. And I think for me, it's also one of the things that I'm looking at when it comes to next season is how we're going to keep evolving tactically, and how we're going to keep refining the systems that we've had in place. And I think a player like Barcola, for all of his versatility, for the speed and provocation that he brings on the pitch, but also for his goal-scoring ability, he's definitely a player. He's like this little Swiss Army knife of a player that you definitely want on your team to be able to go in different directions as well. So yeah, we'll see what goes on. The other part as well is that it's being said. So like the second part of the rumor was that Liverpool is also looking at Rodrigo, and on our side as well, it's been said that PSG would also be going for Rodrigo if Barcola might leave. I'm less sure about this part, honestly. I think that Rodrigo, sadly, there's not a lot of interest for the player. And I think, there's a lot of bad noise around the people, around the player, and his entourage and so on. So that one I put more on Rodrigo trying to carve his name into every conversation, and also journalists looking at the market and going hey, left winger available for around 100 million euro. There's not 25 of them on the market right now, so Rodrigo's name has got to come up. He could be interesting, very talented and so on, but yeah, I'm not so sure about the people around him, the mentality of him. We were very lucky with the squad who played very well together in terms of atmosphere last season. And I think that's definitely something that we want to keep going into next season. So I don't know, maybe they'd go more for Rodrigo Mora, whose name also appears regularly in PSG's orbit, kind of a younger, less finished product, à la Doué, who can come in on the bench and just progressively find his space on the team. Also would offer very different opportunities in terms of roles and positions. But yeah, in any case, like we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit on this. I think for now we'll have to see what the next moves are. It could also be, like, quite frankly, like it could very well be a negotiating tactic from Liverpool to really put pressure on Newcastle to simplify their conversation with them about Isaac. And drive them to the table and drive them to better bargaining. Like I said, Newcastle has been difficult with them, so maybe it's just that. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what comes out of Barcola as well, and whether it's a move that he'd consider. Personally, I'll give you my sense. One, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope we keep the player because I massively like Barcola. I think, like, his speed, his provocation, is something that I really like on the pitch. And it's kind of hard. If you remember, I did a video a few weeks back around the Kvara versus Barcola, showing all the different kinds of player. Ultimately, I think the two are very much at similar levels in terms of play and ability. But yeah, it feels like Luis Enrique is ranking Kvaras at a little bit higher, which is really tough for Barcola, and I really hope he can find more regular playing time, but also like find his way back into the starting 11 in the coming year. Maybe midway slipping back into midfield. I don't know. Like, there's different options. I think in any case, like, the year ahead is going to be very interesting tactically. So yeah, that's what I had for you guys today on this. We'll keep an eye out on these rumors and all of the other Mercato news. The players are back in training since yesterday, so there's a lot of footage coming out all over YouTube if you haven't seen it, of them actually, like, both indoors in the gym at the campus, doing a lot of medical and fitness tests and so on. But also they were even on the pitch yesterday and actually, like, training with the ball. So if you go back to the video I did yesterday, I think it's a good sign on the level of fitness that the player came back with from holiday. And hopefully it puts us in a pretty good light ahead of the clash against Tottenham in the European Super Cup next week. Anyway, thanks for watching this. Please like this video. Drop me a comment on what you think of Barcola, and on a scale of 1 to 10, how much you want him to stay. Because I think PSG fans are generally pretty unanimous about the player. And what might be that magical number for you that might make you reconsider. Is it 100 million? Is it 120? Does it need to push higher? Or is there just no numbers at all? And yeah, please subscribe to the channel. Massively important and really appreciated on my side. Please hit the bell to get notified of future videos. And don't forget, in Liverpool or in Paris, ici c'est Paris!